Good evening. We begin tonight with that reckless driving spree. It ended with the truck in the corner of a Vancouver home, but police say several more people were in danger before this crash. Alma McCarty talked tonight to those dealing with the damage.
Day one of cleanup and repairs at this home on McGillivray Boulevard continues well into the evening.
Fix the walls and put a new garage door and clean up, put some new siding on it.
A disaster restoration company now tasked with hauling away this debris following a startling crash.
Yeah, this is a crazy story in itself because it not only went through two houses but hit a car, went through shrubs and all that, all wrong side of the road. So yeah, this is kind of insane.
On Monday morning, Vancouver police got several calls about a dark green truck driving erratically in the Cascade Park area. Officers say callers reported the truck speeding, driving the wrong way, and nearly hitting pedestrians.
It was completely unexpected.
All that before the truck came crashing into not one, but two houses. One of the homes belongs to Tom Smith.
It came through 3 yards. And I could hear it like literally, trailing through everything, and it exploded into my house. I mean, it felt like a bomb went off. And so my wife and I came running out and saw that the car was literally, lodged into our house.
The driver also smashed part of a retaining wall and hit a parked car, moving it out of the driveway.
To see him go, through almost 4 yards with the gas pedal all the way down is just, it was terrifying.
Police say the suspect managed to crawl out the passenger side window and briefly hid under the truck before he was taken into custody.
My kids weren't home today. Luckily, they were with their grandparents, so thank goodness, because that would have been really traumatic. But my dogs were in the garage when the car came barreling in, and it scared them to death. The little chihuahuas, they were a little bit scared.
Many on this block are still recovering from the shock. Other than the suspect, who was taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries, no one was hurt.
I do hope he's okay in the weirdest way. Yeah. I'm not happy with him, but I don't think anybody in this neighborhood is, because it's a very safe neighborhood,
Officers say speed and impairment were both factors in this crash. Once the driver is released from the hospital, he'll be charged with DUI and multiple counts of hit and run. Investigators ask anyone who was also the victim of hit and run or property damage related to this incident to make a report.
Boy, that was a terrifying experience for those involved. Thank you, Alma. And take a look at another hit and run in Clark County. This one turned deadly. Surveillance video shows what happened. At the corner of your screen, you can see the driver of a stolen Ford F-150 go through a red light and then hit a gray car. This was at Northeast Highway 99 and 88th Circle in Vancouver. Just a few moments later, from another angle, you can see the suspected driver running away and another man chasing after him. The driver of the car, 52-year-old William Stevens, died at the hospital. The crash happened just before 1 o'clock yesterday afternoon. Call the Clark County Sheriff's Office if you have any information. In an effort to stop the Omicron surge, people in Oregon and Washington are getting much-needed COVID-19 tests from state health agencies. But as Catherine Cook reports, they're receiving them in very different ways.
That was fast. Across Washington, you could hear the collective response from those who ordered their free COVID tests through the Washington State Department of Health. The agency teamed up with Amazon to create this online portal, sayyescovidhometest.org. It went live last week. So far, 96,000 households have received their free tests, and the state expects 45,000 more to get theirs on Wednesday. But that's it for now. On Friday, health officials announced that due to high demand, their inventory is currently out of stock. They expect more tests will be available soon.
Supply will be limited and will restock as additional tests come into the state.
In Oregon, state health officials are doing things differently while still trying to get free COVID tests to people who need them. Last month, the Oregon Health Authority told us they don't have the capacity to individually send out tests. On Monday, OHA officials expanded on that, saying it was the state's choice to not do a wide distribution of COVID tests. Instead, their effort is based on equity, saying, "What works for other states is great, but we are doing it this way." This reaches the communities that need it the most, communities of color, and those impacted the most during the pandemic who may not have ready access to tests. To do that, OHA is issuing tests to local public health agencies, Native American tribes, hospitals, and schools to distribute. The state is also running a dozen high-volume testing and vaccination sites, including this one at the Portland Expo Center. The Oregon Health Authority just took it over from OHSU. No appointment needed.
I was kind of impressed this was out there. I'm still waiting for a call from my doctor and to know that we found this online through Oregon.gov and it was accessible and just this whole process. We were kind of impressed.
Back in Washington, as residents wait for their home tests to arrive, doctors are keeping a hopeful eye on the numbers regarding Omicron.
This graph from the Institute for Health Metrics and Evaluation shows that Washington is just past the peak. They hope other states will follow.
The question is the timing of a new variant. When will the next new variant show up? Because if there isn't a new variant, then we would not expect cases to start going up again till later in the year.
Catherine Cook, KGW News.
We are also diving deeper into the hospital backlog in Oregon. Because of COVID, staffing shortages, and other delayed treatments, hundreds of people are waiting for a hospital bed. But many more can't even get discharged because beds at other care facilities aren't available. Galen Etlin talked with the family going through that right now.
Oregon hospitals are strained 2 years into this pandemic, and not just because of COVID.
Staff is stretched.
Anne Dodge Swans in Portland has an adult son in the hospital.
Stable, but seriously ill.
Chris is struggling with hepatitis and needs dialysis. He was supposed to be discharged from the hospital to an outpatient facility, but there's no room right now.
We are in a situation where people are coming to the hospital and sometimes staying longer.
Dave Northfield works with the Oregon Association of Hospitals and Health Systems, representing 62 community hospitals. He says numbers are trending up. 577 Oregon patients are stuck in hospitals waiting to be discharged to lower levels of care, and 229 people are waiting for a hospital bed.
The pipeline is not moving as it should be.
National data also show about 1 in 5 healthcare workers have quit during the pandemic.
It's a struggle for both patients and staff.
Casey Stowell is Regional VP for Fresenius Kidney Care in the Pacific Northwest, looking after more than 50 dialysis clinics. She says 4 are temporarily closed right now because of low staffing and COVID concerns.
We need people to apply and come work for an industry that saves the lives of people every day.
On top of this, Oregon has more than 1,000 COVID patients in the hospital right now, nearing September's Delta peak of 1,200. Many non-COVID patients are also trying to get treatments and surgeries that were delayed.
And there may not be space for those people at the hospitals.
I'm not the only one who's going through this.
Doctors say Anne's son Chris may only have about 6 months left. And because of Legacy's COVID policy, she cannot visit him until he's discharged.
Timing, you feel, is of the essence.
While we hope he's in, that small percentage that has a great survival after 6 months, we would hate for him to be sitting there in the hospital for months on end, waiting for dialysis on an outpatient basis and not be able to see him.
For this family, it's an added strain 2 years into this pandemic. Galen Etlin, KGW News.
Oregon Senator Ron Wyden today addressed OHSU's response to the pandemic, and he advocated for reform so hospitals can attract and retain more nurses.
I'm looking at ways to reduce, for example, tuition. I'm looking at ways to expand loan forgiveness.
He also suggested redesigning OHSU's intensive care and emergency room services to help get more breaks for nurses. Today, 6 schools in the Portland Public School District reopened after being closed due to staffing shortages and the Omicron variant. Now there are just 3 middle schools that will remain closed until February 1st. Administrators say after meeting with the district's health advisor today, things seem to be getting better in the district.
He believes, in our conversations, that the peak actually already happened here in this region. Students' absence rates are going down. We are starting to see, staff absence rates also going down.
He says 86% of schools have remained open throughout the surge, and the priority continues to be keeping schools open for in-person learning. Here's a list of a few schools returning to class this week. They include Alliance High School, Fabian Pre-K through 8, Franklin High, Ockley Green Middle School, and Roosevelt High School. You'll find the full list from PPS if you go to KGW.com. COVID's been in the U.S. now for 2 years, and experts are looking forward, and all of us are, to what it will take to move past the pandemic. We talked with Dr. Jennifer Vines and Jessica Guernsey with Multnomah County Health. They say climbing out of the pandemic may be slow, but they hope it's steady. They say we'll get to a point where COVID doesn't exactly disappear, but fades and is more manageable, and other things take priority.
I think part of our job is understanding that there's real fear and there are risks that come with COVID, but starting to, broaden our view of what it is we're trying to do here around health and health of the county in particular, and having to zoom out a bit from just COVID.
They said instead of focusing on an end to the pandemic, what's more realistic is preparing for when COVID will become less disruptive in our day-to-day lives. As for when that would happen, they couldn't say. Police in Gresham have arrested a woman related to a fire at a historic building. 43-year-old Sarah Arndt is accused of arson at Walker Travel. That's at the corner of Division and Main Streets in Gresham. The building also houses the Gresham Chamber of Commerce. The fire started at about 2 this morning. The porch and front rooms were damaged, but no one was hurt. Portland police also arrested a man wanted in 2 shootings from last year. Carlos Rodriguez Lanz is accused of shooting a woman on Northeast Broadway last August. She was seriously hurt but survived. Officers say he then shot a man in October in the same area, this time on Northeast Holiday Street near the convention center. That man survived life-threatening injuries. Officers who are part of the new FIT team focused on preventing gun violence arrested Rodriguez Lanz Saturday during a traffic stop on North Lombard.